What's up, everybody? My name is Craig McMorris, ESPN broadcaster and professional snowboarder. We're here in Bristol, Connecticut at ESPN headquarters doing an Xplained where we get really in depth and talk about something wild that happened at the X Games this year. Today we're talking about 2019 Aspen, Colorado men's slopestyle finals, one of the hotly contested events at X Games, and this year did not disappoint. My little bro, Mark McMorris, was the last to drop. He had so much pressure on him. He was sitting outside of that podium and he had all the cards in his hand to get on top of that podium. So I'm going to talk about his walk-off home run. We're going to start with Måns Roysland. The craziest thing about this was Måns was an alternate, but due to some dropouts, he got to drop first. Måns, not a rookie. 2 years previous, he got a bronze medal in 2017 in this very event with massive tricks, earning him a bronze medal. He dropped first here, which is very tough to do, and that is crazy. First run, putting down 91.33. The first run is a benchmark score, but I mean, that's a podium score right there. That's gonna be really, really tough to match. Let's jump ahead to Mark McMorris. What a lot of people don't know, 6 weeks before this X Games, he had the screws in his knee taken out surgically because they were bugging him so much. So he had to go into surgery, get those taken out, and really eliminate all time on snow until this very event. So the fact that he goes and does this on run one, puts that down, that is an absolute heater. So that run right there, 89.66, putting him into second. Very good run from Mark, but it's not touching Måns Roysland's 91.33. The catalyst, the caveat, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but the whole thing that makes this tumultuous is Rene Rennekongas, this young kid from Finland who is a rookie at the X Games. We've got Måns Roysland sitting in first. We've got Mark McMorris sitting in second. What is Rene Rennekongas going to do? Well, he's going to come in and absolutely blow them out of the water, getting into first place. This backside 1620, and you can see how ecstatic he is. Måns Roysland cheering him on, probably knowing that he's been knocked out of first place, and Rene Rennekongas is elated. Now, before we get into Mark's third and final run, on run two, he tried to switch up his run a little bit and took a really hard slam. He went backside triple and then had to cut across and try and do a front triple, but came out of it because he knew he didn't have enough rotation and slammed really, really hard. I mean, when you're watching it so fast, everybody looks so in control, but these are 90-foot jumps and people take really hard slams. Not to mention, I mean, the knee's gotta be an issue. It's gotta be on your mind. You're not riding that much. Mark has his destiny in his hand. Now in runs 1 and 2, he knew if he wanted to bump that score up, he's got to get to the end of the rails, but still do the technicalities, still do the hard tricks into the rail. So let's break down this rail section. And what you gotta notice is Mark takes off on that lower takeoff. A lot of riders, if you're hitting this down flat down right here, they would take off right here, but Mark taking off on that other takeoff. That makes it so much harder because he's got to go way further and way farther out to get to the rail. Here, you can see he's got his right foot forward as he takes off, that's switch, and does a 270, rotates 270 degrees all the way down. So he takes off from that far takeoff, gaps the down flat, and then lands on this down. Look the way his shoulders are, they're really, really open. So naturally, if you're spinning, and you keep your shoulders closed, you're gonna continue to rotate that way. But the way that Mark does his 270 here, and the more difficult way, is to keep your shoulders open when you land on the rail and pull the board back. Take note of how he lands, left foot forward. So he digs that toe side edge in, and you can see how hard he's fighting to keep his shoulders open, which is extremely, extremely tough to do because your rotation naturally pulls you. That's why he's digging that toe side edge in and really fighting it. Rail 2 I really like because he's coming in left foot forward, because that first rail put him left foot forward, so he's riding his natural direction, and comes in with a board slide same way. This is more of a setup trick for Mark because here at the X Games in 2019, it was up rails and very, very tight together, there were some down rails. So he does board slide same way 270, lands, and now he's got to really find that next rail. You see how quickly he turns his head, he's looking forward for that next rail, and this is what gave him so much trouble in runs 1 and 2. Now I'm going to pause it, because it's really, really technical. He's loading up his front leg. He's gonna do a hard way backside 270. What makes it a hard way is that he's gonna pop off his nose and rotate up and over the rail. And it's funny on this trick, it really puts you forward, really over the toes. So you gotta really save it, and Mark does that. Right in the middle of his bindings, gets to the end of the rail, that is absolutely key, and 2.7's out. to rail 3 of 3. This one in Aspen is always a bit of a high-speed rail because it's setting up for that 3 jump pack at the bottom. So now he's coming in switch. He hit rail 1 switch, rail 2 regular, and rail 3 switch, which is really good. The judges want to see you ride switch and regular as much as possible. Tab 2 into this rail, 450 out. So 270 in. See how his right foot is on the rail? So he's going to be spinning that same way. You got to load up that back foot, as you see he does there, and goes 450 out. That's setting him up for this very first of 3 jumps switch, this unnatural way of riding. And Mark, over the years, has really liked to set up with a switch backside rotation, which is, in my opinion, his weakest way of rotating. You know, it took him the longest to learn switch back triples. He's got the front triple, he's done cab triples, and he's got a really good backside triple, but switch backside has always been his hardest one. So he likes to put that one at the top because he knows once he puts that one down, it almost gets a little bit easier. The first jump of the 3 is the smallest one, so you're not really seeing triples go down on it. It's been more of a setup jump, and that's what Mark uses it for. Switch backside 1260. 3.5 full rotations, and what I really like about this is the way Mark grabs switch melon. This is the most veteran move you can do right here. I'm gonna break it down because I'm gonna expose a little secret here. If you look really closely, he only holds his grab for maybe 720 and see where his arm goes up, but he keeps his arm right there. His right hand is right by his foot. He brings it up to adjust, but he keeps it right there, so it looks like he's grabbing, not getting docked that many points. So now he's coming into the second of 3rd jumps. Now this is one of the scariest triple corks you can do because it is so blind. You take off, almost backflip-ish, but just over that left shoulder if you're left foot forward, and if you're right foot forward, you take over your right shoulder. So he takes off over that left shoulder, and the spin is initiated by bringing the knees up extremely, extremely strong. You create that rotation as well as spinning, and it's a lot of core work. You'll see guys just whipping as hard as they can. Mark's got a great core and whips it up, and that's what gets the rotation. He's got the grab, and this is the other craziest thing. That's the last time you see the landing. So he's done 2 flips at this point. And you can see his goggles looking down at the landing. The landing is going to be right here. This is the last time you see the landing. So you've already done 2 flips. You're pretty much almost at the peak of your height, and that's the last time you get to see the landing. And this is the last time you can kind of make adjustments. Mark looks at the landing, knows he's got to get going because it's coming up pretty fast, and goes again. Flips it again, and then puts it down. But here's a great look at it. You can see the 3rd and final jump right there. It comes up so close. So on runs 2, he landed over here, somewhere around here. He had to get over and then rotate off that jump. That was impossible. That's why he slams so hard on run 2. But in run 3, he's riding left foot forward and he has to spin backside so he can take a straighter approach at it. He doesn't have to come out and go around. He can go pretty straight. Sets it up, and Mark's got that whip. Look at this. He's at the bottom of the takeoff, and if you're watching this at home, this is how you initiate a backside spin. This is one of the greats of all time at the backside triple cork. He's loaded up on his toe edge. He holds it so straight. He starts the rotation so early on the takeoff, but what everybody makes the mistake is they've already got their shoulders closed. Look at how open his shoulders are still on the takeoff, and he's already starting the rotation. But look at the direction of his board. The direction of his board is going straight off the jump. What a lot of people make mistakes is they close their shoulders and their board is already starting to turn. That's where you see people catch or not get that pop. Mark's board is going straight off and he's already got his upper body fully torqued. Pops up, gets the grab, 1, 2, 3, and he does a back 1620. So he's upping his difficulty here. And he really needed to up his difficulty if you want to knock off Rene Renecongas. One of the best landings. We got, this is my favorite, that claim right there in the yellow jacket. Already claiming he's barely landed it. A walk-off home run. One of mine and Brandon's favorite calls of all time because the amount of pressure he was under, the level of riding that was there that day, and just the ability to call it and be part of it was really special to me and Brandon, and obviously Rene Renecongas, Mons Roysland, Brad Gerard, and Mark McMorris put on an unbelievable show. That was 2019. You say all that and you gotta think, what's gonna happen in 2020?